What's up, Ladder fam? Listen, I am so excited that you decided to tune in today. Man, I just been having fun with this topic, Designed to Lead. This is the ebook that was recently dropped. And if you haven't already, I just want to encourage you to get your hands on a copy. It's been changing so many lives. And I am so internally grateful for all the messages, all the text messages, and things that I've gotten, whether it was through DM, phone calls, or any other type of communication, just thanking me for the release of this book and just some of the material that is on the inside of it. But one of the things that we've been doing is taking a deep dive into the series and the title of the book, little plug there, Designed to Lead. And listen, do me a favor. If this is something that you believe somebody needs to hear, please comment, share, like the video. I love it. I mean, you are the one that has helped me get beyond further than where I am at right now. So I just want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for just sticking with your voice, tuning in to all the things that we have in store. We also have a newsletter. Listen, I want to encourage you to stay plugged into our newsletter as well. There's so much video content. There's also even coaching that is available to you, to the Ladder family, that you will be able to receive either from myself or some other trusted individual that I really believe that can help scale your life, especially in the area of leadership. So I am so excited about the topic that we're going to be talking about today. This is one of the lines from the ebook Designed to Lead. Today we're going to be talking about time cannot be saved. Time cannot be saved. I think this is so important, especially as you grow, as you evolve, as you get older, as your mind matures a little bit, because you start walking into areas of more of a intentional focus. I remember when I was in high school, the coach at that time allowed the seniors to talk to the freshmen, and one of the things that the seniors were saying was hitting. But there was one particular senior who was the star of the school, who everybody knew. He was very popular at that time, and one of the things that I really remembered him saying is, "Enjoy this moment because it goes by fast." Now, as a freshman, I'm looking at him and I'm just like, yo, who is this guy? Like, I have this like competitive like mindset. I want to take his position. But not only that, I'm ignoring the simple fact that he is giving me instrumental or instructions on how to capture the moment. But because I was so focused of trying to grind and outwork and really get more affirmation or attention from other people because of my performance or acceptance of my performance, I missed what he was saying in a moment that really could have been a changing point in my life. Now, that wasn't the end of that the first time I heard that, because I remembered my dad, who was celebrating his 50th birthday at the picnic table while the party is diminishing a little bit. Everybody's going home. And I walk up to him, and it's a really nice day outside. The trees are blowing. The wind is blowing and the trees are waving a little bit, and really nice breeze. Everything is kind of calming down. And I saw him just staring. And one of the things I asked at that time, I said, "Hey, Dad," I said, "what are you thinking about?" And of course, he says no. But then I asked a deeper question. I said, "Dad," I said, what what about being 50 that you understand now the most?" And he says, "Enjoy your youth, AJ, because it goes by fast." There are a lot of things in our life that I really believe that we can sometimes take for granted, or we can not be as intentional about because we don't have clarity on what part of it or how it fits in our life. Especially when it comes to your gifts and calling. I really do believe, like, even as a young age, you live your life like this, where it is opened. My hands are opened. I'm giving everyone attention. I'm going after everything that pleases me. I'm going after things that sounds good, not necessarily is good for me, not necessarily is the God thing for me, but the reputation and the thing around it was packaged in a way that is just undesirable. So I have to take it. My relationships are spread thin, and there's so many things that are spread thin in the area of a young person, especially because they do not understand their calling. And then even farther more than that, there is a place in your life where you have to accept the calling that God has placed over your life. Some people know what they've been called to do, but haven't accepted what they've been called to do. And therefore we live our lives where it is just one um widened path that everyone has access to, all the opportunities have access to, and we sometimes dispose those things along the way. But as you mature, as you become more familiar, as you become a little bit more intentional about the calling and the gift that has been placed over your life, and as your leadership grows and matures as well, your focus then begins to get narrow. And the people that want to have lunches, or there are some things that there are some events or parties or different types of things that you've been invited to that really disinterests you because you do not want to waste time. The more you become clear in the things that has been established for you and what you are becoming in this new season of leadership, the very least of what you want to do is waste time, because you understand that every single second, minute of your day is so important. That's why I really believe that social media, for me, I had to make a clear cut decision, especially when TikTok came out. I had to understand from the perspective of, listen, I'm not able to handle TikTok in the most efficient way that would allow me to not waste time. And here's the thing that we have to understand: we have to be clear and intentional about disposing those things that are a waste of time, or we'll continuously be distracted and going off path than what our calling is pulling us towards. And that is so that just releases so much tension that could be in a room of you having to try to please others or waiting for others to accept you. That releases the tension of you trying to be affirmed about relationships, different statuses on your job, anything in that nature, because now you have a clearer understanding of who you are, and you don't have to get your identity from something that is outside of you. The reason why we sometimes go in so many different directions is because we're looking to be seen. We're looking to be identified. We want somebody to confirm what has already been placed on the inside of us. And sometimes that doesn't always happen, or it doesn't even always happen in the time frame in which we want it. I mean, think of any type of relationship where the guy is stalling to propose to the woman, or the woman is stalling to make the serious commitment that the guy needs in order to make the proposal happen. You have to understand, if there is no clear understanding of how I perceive the future, then I will always be uncertain about the now. Time cannot be saved. You cannot reserve it. You cannot put it in the refrigerator. You cannot do anything that gives you the ability to get time back. And because it's one of the most valuable resources that we have, if we don't understand how to manage it, if we don't understand how to produce within the time frames of it, then we will always fall behind, which puts us in an area of repeating cycles that can sometimes be broken if we were more realistic with what needs to be done within the time that we have been given. Listen, I want to give you a couple of things that is going to be very important, especially when it comes to the resources, to understand what to do in the time that you have. Number one, I want to go a completely different path, is confidence. Confidence. Here is one of the things that we have to understand, especially, as a leader. There's three confident factors that comes in mind. Number one is confidence in your relationship with God. And the reason why this is important is because you have to have confidence in His ability to do things that is past or that is outside your ability. When God provides a miracle, I remember I was talking to a good friend this morning, is that sometimes when God provides a miracle, we are sometimes essentially trying to figure out what's the next step or what's the next thing that we should do. And we have to refrain from that, because if we've done everything that we could possibly do and have exhausted all the options, in which the word of God says faith without works is dead, then our next option is to rely on God. But without relying on God, without having the confidence that God has the ability to provide, has the ability to make a way out of no way, we lose faith. We lose faith in His ability. Therefore, trying to outperform, trying to do things that is outside of our ability to make something happen. So that's the number one factor that we have to have. That's like 1A that we have to have when it comes to confidence. Is confidence in your God, confidence in the fact that He is going to provide even in the times where it feels like you need to do something. And listen, I want to plug this in as well. The only way that you're going to be able to get that confidence is intimacy in Him, because the intimacy in Him, this which leads us to B, okay, of one, which is confidence. But to have confidence in Him is to understand what He has placed on the inside of you, which then gives you confidence in the ability or confidence in the gift that He has given you, knowing that you are already pre-made for what He has destined you for. So in other words, you don't have to look outside of yourself to be confirmed. You don't even have to look outside of yourself for help. Every single thing that God has placed on the inside of you becomes your understanding that I know that there's more because of the ability that God has given me. There is nothing more frustrating to a leader. Nothing more frustrating to a leader is when you put them in an assignment, or you put them in a role, put them in a functionality, and you give them nothing to do. And here's the thing, especially for leaders who know their capability, it's because there's always going to be a level of challenging that they're going to want to have in those different types of areas. So we have to be very clear on the things that God has placed on the inside of us, and that transfer into how we are supposed to serve others. Now, this is so essential when it comes to our relationships and when it comes to how we are supposed to give. Because if you are giving from a place of depletion, stress, depression, any of those things, you will produce that in a spiritual sense. Like, you don't have to tell me that you're mad, because I see that on your demeanor, and that's the type of energy, that is the type of vibe that you are giving off. So therefore, I will approach you, or the way that I am going to come up to you is a person who has my guard up, because you're not saying it, but there's something about you that is off. And this is the thing that people identify when we have not filtered out some of the emotions and some of the things that gets through us, because we are uncertain about the future. And so those three aspects of confidence is number one, God, number one, yourself, and the relationship that you have with others. All three of those areas you have to have confidence in. Number two is creativity. Now, this is so important because creativity takes time. We are living in a world today where, even at the rate of AI, the way it is producing, is causing a false sense of a mass production. And within this mass production, there's really not creativity that is involved. Your weapon, your defense mechanism to poverty, your defense mechanism to inflation, your defense mechanism to where this economy goes is your creativity. That is the instinct, that is the idea, that is the thought that God has placed on the inside of you that evolves into a solution for somebody else. And if you are not isolating yourself or putting you in an area where you can work on the creativity and the uniqueness that God has given you, then we will sometimes waste time trying to fit into places that we were never called to fit in. Last one I want to give you is communication. Now, communication is essential because there are certain things that are happening on the inside of you that changes over time. And if we are not careful, we can sometimes allow people who we are supporting, even in our relationships, to support us in a season or in an area that they are unfamiliar with, or because we haven't thoroughly communicated where we are at in a sense, they will lose hope, or we will sometimes back away from a person who is not serving us the way we would like to be served in a particular season. Because things change for us consistently, continuously, all the time, we have to understand how to verbally express ourselves in an articulate manner that gives others clear understandings of how to handle us even at our needs. You cannot expect your assistant, you cannot expect other leaders that you will help training or that you will help developing to anticipate your needs without intimacy. And that's exactly what communication does. Communication gives you the ability to have intimacy with the other person. What is intimacy? Into me, you see. I see something on the inside of you that doesn't necessarily have to be verbal, but because I know you, I can identify something sooner than what you speak on. So communication is so important because it gives us the opportunity to let people know what is on the inside of us. Now, here is the important part. You have to practice your communication. You have to practice communicating your vision. You have to practice communicating your feelings. You have to practice communicating your sell pitches. You have to practice your communication at such a level that it becomes desirable to listen to, so that you're not talking in circles and people tune you out, right? And so communication gives leaders the opportunity to be successful in the area that they're successful in, simply because everybody knows your vision and nobody has to walk on eggshells. Everybody is clear on what's next. Everybody is clear on how they should proceed. They are not guessing. And that's usually what happens, is that leaders begin to guess what other leaders want when they are not clear on the designated assignment, goal, or what we're trying to accomplish as a team. And that, my friend, becomes a complete waste of time, especially when you do not want to communicate at an effective rate that gives clarity so that your organization can thrive. Listen, I am so excited that you were able to join in today. There's more. So you're going to have to check out the book in order to get more information about this topic. Listen, we talked about time cannot be saved. And I really do believe that this is just going to help you enrich your life so that you can stick to a routine that gives you the power to not only say no, but to say yes to the God things and not yes to the good things. Like, we want to live so intentional that we give ourselves a true understanding time of the individuals that are going to help us excel and move from one point in our life to the next. I am so excited that you were able to join. Listen, tune in next time. If you haven't already, I want you to like it, share it, comment in the comments. We're going to be back giving you content every single week so that you can have an enjoyable time with understanding leadership with the ladder. And also check out our podcast, subscribe to it. We definitely want to hear your feedback. All right, everyone, you enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for tuning in.